Welcome to our podcast, where we explore the intricacies of love and relationships. Today we're diving into a topic that many of us struggle with: expectations in love. Our episode is titled Love Without Expectations, the Art of Unconditional Giving. Have you ever found yourself caught in a cycle of expectations and disappointments in your relationships? Maybe you've spent hours searching for the perfect gift, only to be met with indifference. Or perhaps you've made significant sacrifices, like moving to a new city for your partner, only to find they're always too busy to spend time with you. These scenarios are common regardless of gender. Most of us have grappled with such thoughts at some point. I know I have. In past relationships, I often prioritized my partner, sometimes even over my job. When that dedication wasn't reciprocated, I felt uneasy, as if there was an imbalance in the relationship. But here's the thing. This sense of unfairness is particularly prevalent among younger individuals. While it might initially seem reasonable to expect something in return for our sacrifices, this mindset can be detrimental, especially in personal relationships. Let's talk about a concept from economics called a transaction. When you buy something, you're trading money for an item. When you work, you're exchanging your labor for money. But should we apply this transactional thinking to love? When we believe we're making a sacrifice for someone but expect something in return, it's not really a sacrifice anymore. It turns into a transaction. The idea of, I do this for you, so you must do that for me, isn't about unconditional love, but conditional transactions. Consider the love parents have for their children. When our parents make sacrifices for us, they rarely expect anything in return. Their love isn't based on how much we love them back or what we might do to thank them later. So how can we shift our perspective? In my own journey, I've learned to focus on what I can control. If I want to spend time with someone, I make time for them. If I do something for them, it's for my own enjoyment, not with the expectation of a certain reaction or reciprocation. This shift in mindset has relieved a lot of emotional burden. It has given me control over my sense of joy and peace, instead of being influenced by the actions or thoughts of others. Think about the early stages of a relationship. At the beginning, we often go above and beyond for our partners, like traveling long distances for a date. The happiness comes from the act itself, not the reaction of the partner. But as relationships evolve, this selfless mindset often diminishes. We start to form expectations, leading to a transactional dynamic that we might not be aware of. Now, you might wonder, can a relationship last if it's one-sided, with one person putting in all the effort and the other simply receiving? It's a valid concern. A relationship where one person is always the giver and the other the taker is hard to maintain. However, this issue is different from our main point. We should focus on doing what we want for others without expecting anything in return. Love without conditions. If we want to do something, we should do it. Ultimately, our actions should bring us joy. How others think and act is their responsibility, not ours. In reality, if one person is solely responsible for maintaining a relationship and the other person does nothing, our affection for them will eventually fade. But when our feelings run their course, we can move on without regret, because we know we acted sincerely. I am a firm believer in letting our feelings lead us. As long as there are feelings, let them flow freely. Don't assume that loving someone is always easy. Love might seem simple when we're young and our emotions are intense. But as we get older, we realize it's not always straightforward, so seize every opportunity to love. Concentrate on expressing love rather than expecting something in return. Love and business are not the same. We should avoid turning acts of love into transactions. This simple thought can make relationships more enjoyable. Without expectations, we don't put pressure on the other person, making them feel more comfortable. The essence of a relationship is two people fostering love and peace for each other. If we can offer that, the other person will naturally feel valued and reciprocate, sometimes even surpassing our expectations. To wrap up today's discussion, remember that expectations in love can be tricky. Love without overcomplicating things. If you want to do something for someone, do it without expecting anything in return. These are just some thoughts from today's podcast. I hope they provide useful insights into improving our relationships. Thank you for tuning into our podcast. If you found this episode insightful, please show your support by giving it a like. YouTube's algorithm favors videos with high engagement. Don't forget to say hi in the comments. I'd love to know you're listening. Your support helps us reach a wider audience with these valuable messages. As we wrap up, remember, if love still resides in your heart, let it be your focus. Until next time, keep loving freely.